And besides, I really love that there is people here are very good. Well, fun, because I get to meet people like you. But here it's just really nice because of that. Northern Bali, because it's so gorgeous there and it's totally different from what we have here. Weather is very mysterious right now. That's like the best way I can describe it.
Open your hands, stand in the light, watch it begin. We're gonna shine.
First thing that I would love to know about you is like, how did you end up here in Bali doing what you do right now?
So it all started with me being in America 2 years ago and not knowing where to go to. So at that time, I was dating an American guy, and because he's from America and I'm from Ukraine, we couldn't stay in one place for too long because of the visas. And I could only stay in the US for 6 months and he could stay in Ukraine for 3 months. So we were looking for a good place to settle down at, which would be not super expensive, but have like nice people and nice weather. And that was like the most important thing. And so, we were looking and we were like, okay, Bali. Bali sounds like a fun place to go. And a lot of friends of mine have been here. So I was like, okay, let's try it out. So we booked our tickets and came here. And last year I spent 2 months here, just kind of, enjoying it. And I traveled around the island and I saw the potential of the place. I saw how comfortable it is here. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. I would like to settle down here. And everything changed in my life. Then I left Bali because I had to go back home for some time. And there was a lot going on in between. But then, this year came. I was like, okay, it's winter. And I hate winters. I hate bad weather.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there are some people who are crazy enough to like snow and all that stuff. That's not me. I'm not one of them. So yeah. So I was looking for a place to go. And it was, again, Bali. It's very comfortable, very nice. Why wouldn't we go there? And so here we are.
Nice, cool,
Yeah.
amazing. So the first time you went to Bali was like around 2 years ago or like 1 year ago?
Yeah, it was, so it's 2020. So it was 2019, but just the beginning. I arrived in Bali on 3rd of January of 2019. Yeah, I remember that day.
So you spent like 2 months there?
Yes, yeah.
What things that things that suddenly like, oh wow, okay, this is Bali. So is that like that thing?
There is, definitely, yeah. I didn't know what to expect because I've never been here before. I remember I arrived and first I didn't even understand where I am because the flight from New York was so long. It was like 30 hours of flying. And I was so tired from it. And I was stressed out, so I was like, okay, Bali. But then it kind of started to dawn on me that here I am. And I started exploring the island more and creating content because that's what I do for my blog. I create content. And I started looking for all those places and I started traveling around the island and being like, wow, this is gorgeous. And besides, I really love that there is people here are very good because people is my number one kind of, point that I make in choosing a place where I want to live. If people there are not nice, I'm not gonna spend much time there. And I see it here, the locals and the foreigners who live here, the expats, they're just all so kind and nice that I really loved it.
Nice, cool,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But how does this modeling and writing content about blogging started?
Ooh, that's a good question. How did it start? Well, it started a very long time ago, really long time ago. I started my Instagram in 2011. So it was like the beginning of beginnings. And I was a kid back then. I was 13 years old. So I would just post, pictures of food. I remember I loved posting pictures of food. And then after that, it kind of started growing very slowly. I don't really know why, probably because I traveled and because I'm really communicative, so I know some people. So it started kind of growing and I had around 3,000 followers by the time I was 15, 16 years old. But then I kind of realized that that's a good kind of medium for self-expression, and I met a lot of photographers through Instagram. And so I was like, okay, I can meet people through here, so I should kind of develop myself. And I started, well, hanging out with more people, and especially while traveling, I found out that I'm really good at finding good spots and creating like a vision for a picture. So like, I'm good at being a creative director of a photo shoot. And I saw that that's something I can really do. And I remember it started being really serious by the time I was, I don't even remember. Let me think. I was in Europe back then. And then after that, I went to the US. And in the US, the community around blogging is so big and there are so many opportunities in there that I connected with like 30, 40 different photographers. I found really cool places and I started just really kind of working on it. And then my first paid partnerships arose and I was like, okay, so I can not only take pictures, but also, get some free stuff for that and get paid for that. So why wouldn't I do that? So yeah, and then I arrived here and kind of the same thing. I just really do it. I don't do it for the money because that's not my main medium of earning. I mostly do it for, fun, because I get to meet people like you, Yeah.
Okay, nice. So you after that 2 months of Bali, then you went back to the Europe and then.
So back last year, no, yeah. So I was in Bali for 2 months. Then I actually went to India and spent, I think, 2 months in India. Yeah, it's really hard to remember because there's so many countries, that I go to. So yeah, I spent 2 months in India, and from India, I flew back to Ukraine, I think. Yes, I did, yeah. Because I was studying at the time. I was finishing college, and that was my last year. So I really needed to take my exams and all that. And so I, went back home. And I spent around, how much time did I spend there? Around 2 months in Ukraine. And after that, after the 2 months in Ukraine, I decided to go to Europe and just have a trip around Europe. So it was my ex-boyfriend and my friend, and we went through Italy, like the whole Italy. And then we went to, what was it? We went to Germany and spent like a month there. We went to like Berlin, and there is a little town called Nuremberg, which is very cute too, very sweet. And then after that, I had a road trip around Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, and that was just beautiful because it was September already by that time. Because I spent a lot of time in Europe, around 3 months, and so we took a car, we rented a car, and just drove around the northern of Scandinavia, and that was really, really cool. And then after that, I went back home for a little bit and came here again.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of places.
Oh yes, yeah. My life is kind of rich in places.
All right. What makes you think that it's better for you like to come here after that spend like a lot of places and then you went to Ukraine again? Like, what things that make you come back here?
Well, as I mentioned, the first thing are people, because really, it's so nice here that people are kind. People are very respectful, because usually when I travel around Asia, I see, different patterns of behavior that I don't always like. But here, it's just really nice because of that. And then the second point is, of course, the weather, because I really love the weather here. It's sunny, and I am very weather dependent. So if it's cold outside and if it's, gloomy and dark, how it is, in Ukraine or in pretty much the whole Europe, so I get really sad and really depressed. So I haven't spent the winter in Ukraine for the last 8 years because of that. Yeah, thank God my parents have always been supportive of that. They're the same, So yeah, so the weather, the people, and the comfortability, because there is internet here. It's not very expensive, If I was to live, say, in, India, there is not that much internet there. Like, you can find a cafe, and it's going to be a nice cafe like this one, but without any internet. So I would not be able to work because I mostly do my work online. So I was like, okay. And those three are really the points. And then the fourth really cool point is that it's pretty cheap, and you get a really good quality for money. So yeah, those are my 4 points why it's Bali and nowhere else.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So you are like between those cities that you have traveled, like a lot. I cannot even remember.
Yeah.
Like
Neither can I.
yeah, see. So like what's the thing about of course there are like good and bad in certain places, yeah. For
Right.
maybe like in Europe it's like I don't know, better architecture or something like that, but like what is it in Bali that they don't have it there, you know?
That they don't have there. Okay. Well, first of all is the access to the countries, because in Europe, however much I want to do it, it is really hard to stay there for a long time. You know, it's 3 months max, and then you have to spend 3 months out. So that's number one. Then the second thing is, well, it's the weather, because you know it's not that cool. Also, there is a greater level of poverty. Like people are, well, there's a gap between the rich and the poor. You know, here I don't see anyone who's homeless. Not even one person who's homeless. But in Europe, well, it's not like that. There are lots of people from all over the world, including, you know, like really poor refugees, for example, and especially like in Germany, there are so many homeless people there. And there is no community there in the sense that there are more like corporate jobs and businesses and big skyscrapers or small offices, and people seem to always work there. You know, there are companies, like huge companies, and everybody just works. And there's not a lot of spending time together, not a lot of chances to meet other people. So Europe seems to be very closed. Like, you know, for example, if I am in Germany, right, somewhere like northern Germany, not Berlin, because Berlin is really different. But like people there, they talk only to the people who they already know. They don't meet anybody else. They have their 9-to-5 jobs, their, you know, I don't know, chess playing hobby. And that's about it. And here, you know, you arrive here and you have these yoga clubs, meditation clubs, art clubs, all the people who are photographers, videographers, singers, artists, digital nomads and expats. And you, like, I feel like I am part of this community here. Whereas when I'm in Europe, I feel like I'm just, you know, I should get a corporate job, which I don't really want to do. Yeah, so that's why it is Bali.
So like you've traveled around the world. Are you blogging that time, or like just travel, or doing modeling too, or?
I do modeling, but not a paid modeling when I'm traveling. So usually when I travel, it happens kind of in this way. I come to a place, and usually I don't spend just like a week in a place. I spend like a month in a place, because I really want to understand the culture and understand the people and see more, not as a tourist, but like as if I'm a local, kind of, you know? So when I come to a place, I want to make some content for my Instagram blog. And of course, you know, stories and IGTV videos when I travel around, that's a must. But then I have to create some content. And to create content, I need photographers. So I start looking for photographers, and I start looking for places that will feed, well, my feed is color coordinated. So I would have, you know, yellow feed, and I need to find a bunch of yellow places in, you say, Rome or in, say, Berlin. So I look for those places, and then I come with those places to photographers, and I'm like, hey, I want to shoot with you. I'm a model, but I do the editing, and I creative direct the shoot. So I basically need the hands to take the picture. And I connect with those people. That way they create, you know, good shots for their portfolio, and I create some stuff for my blog. So it's a win-win kind of situation.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what is it like you kind of looking for here in Bali? Because like you said, your feed is like a color theme.
Yeah.
Thing.
So, well, last year my feed was, it was kind of it's really hard to explain actually what kind of colors were here, because it was amazing, but it's really hard to explain. So I had a little bit of blues, and I had a little bit of pinkish reds, so kind of sunset kind of colors. So I did that. This year, however, and last year, I have gone through all of the really popular spots here. You know, I've gone through Seminyak and Canggu and all the places where tourists go. But this year, I really want to concentrate on places that are hidden. They're not that popular yet. You know, northern Bali, because it's so gorgeous there, and it's totally different from what we have here. So I really want to explore more of the unique and real Bali, not the perfect Instagrammable, rice terraces. Because I've been there, and everybody has been there. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on. And right now my feed is kind of merging. I've gone through a small yellow phase into a more red and blue phase right now. So that's where we're at the moment.
Amazing. So myself, I have never been to like really up north. Maybe like Ubud is pretty much the furthest
Really,
thing.
you've never been
exactly.
up north?
Yeah.
Wow.
So maybe you can tell me like the thing up north and the thing here in the south.
Well, so up north, it is very, very different. First of all, it's colder. I am surprised that you've never been up north. Seriously, wow.
Only to the waterfall there one time.
Wow. Yeah, well, the waterfalls are beautiful. That's definitely one thing that we don't have here, waterfalls. They're everywhere, especially if you go past, there's Git and there's Sectum Pool, right? And there Leki is also over there. So waterfalls for sure. But like in general, there are no people there, which is amazing. The weather is very mysterious right now. That's like the best way I can describe it. It's super mysterious. And it's not very, well, there's not a lot of tourism, which is just amazing because there are a lot of tourists on those, rice terraces here next to Ubud and all that. And you drive around and see very unique Balinese places that I think will become really kind of insta-perfect and will become something really cool in the next 5 years, but they're not yet. So it's really cool to be there for them. And it feels very, very eclectic, I want to say, because there are villages there and that's it. Just villages, no cool resorts, nothing like that, no restaurants. So you get to see a little more of the real Bali, I guess.
Nice, amazing. So when you were there, you stayed in the village or you just stay here and then...
No, I just stay here and go there, yeah. We actually just went there the day before yesterday, up north, yeah.
What did you find? Where are you in?
So we went through Batur, so we actually went to the right of the island, but we didn't go up Batur, we went to a love field. Really cool place. If anybody's watching this and you're looking for a photo shoot spot, that's a great place. You can just Google it, it's lava, it's lava field, that's it. And it looks like you're on Mars. Really cool, seriously, super cool. I'm surprised not that many people go there. And then from there we went, I don't remember the name of that village, but it's like going to the left from there. So it's above Ubud, but it's not on the tourist trail that takes you to Handura Gates and all the waterfalls. It's a little bit like in the middle between Batur and Ubud. And there are flower fields there. The flowers that you guys use here for ceremonies, there are huge fields for that, and you can take pictures there. The view of Batur. So that was another spot. And of course, we, just saw a lot of things as we went. And then the third point where we actually didn't make it on time, it was Ulundanu Temple. That's one of the really kind of cool spots and really popular spots. But like the road in between was super cool. I'm definitely gonna come back there again.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, next up.
Hey, you should visit it. You should
I would love to one day because like there is like one girl who asked me like do interview there in Batur and I was like, wow.
Yeah, why not?
One day I do 2 interviews, like
yeah.
Maybe I need to find time for that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it definitely requires some time. Yeah.
All right. This would be the last thing.
Ooh.
Nice, yeah. Finally. Based on what you do right now, like being a model, like trying to blog with cool places and like trying to feed your Instagram good pictures and stuff like that. What do you wish or hope about Bali in the future that can still support you doing what you do right now?
Well, honestly, I see that Bali is developing, so that's my greatest wish to Bali, to keep developing. I definitely, if there's one thing that could support me, is to become more ecological, because there's so much trash on those beaches around even Seminyak and Canggu, and that's just really sad. So when I see that, it kind of slowly deteriorates into a very kind of dirty place. And you know, it's bad for me because I can't take pictures there if it's dirty. So, but it's also really bad for the island itself and for the ecosystem. And I saw that people who go swimming with manta rays next to Nusa Penida, it's really, really polluted there. The sea is the ocean is polluted. So I really kind of wish that that wasn't an issue here and Bali was moving towards a more ecological spot. And I see that there are efforts here, so that's definitely something, number one, I guess, that I would like to, be more conscious about, and I would like people to be more conscious about and take some action. And the second thing, I guess, I just wish for Bali to not get too overcrowded and too commercialized, because why I like the northern part is because it's not too commercial. And I feel like here it's super commercial, which is great, but I really wish for that part of the island to be preserved. Yeah, so that it just stays unique, because I really want to experience, and it's a good balance right now, because you experience the kind of European, Australian, nomadic community here in Bali, where it's nice restaurants like this one and nice people, but then you can go up north and experience just totally different Bali with the villages and no tourists at all. And I really hope that it will stay that way, that it will not become super populated up there. So those are my two greatest wishes. Yeah.
Amazing, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Of course.